Alan Watts was known for interpreting and popularizing Eastern philosophies such as Zen Buddhism, Taoism, and Hinduism for Western audiences, often incorporating elements of Stoicism into his teachings. While Watts is not typically classified as a Stoic philosopher, his exploration of human existence, suffering, and happiness shares intriguing parallels with Stoic thought. By examining the intersections between Watts's interpretations of Eastern philosophies and the principles of Stoicism, one can uncover how his approach to life resonates with Stoic ideals, providing a rich, multi-dimensional perspective on living a meaningful life. The meaning of life is just to be alive. It is so plain and so obvious and so simple, and yet everybody rushes around in a great panic, as if it were necessary to achieve something beyond themselves. Alan Watts's philosophical outlook is deeply rooted in the concept of non-duality, which posits that the separation between the self and the universe is an illusion. This idea aligns closely with the Stoic view of cosmopolitanism, which suggests that all human beings are part of a larger, interconnected whole. For Alan, recognizing the interconnectedness of all things leads to a profound sense of unity and belonging, dissolving the boundaries between self and other. This perspective encourages a Stoic-like acceptance of one's place in the grand scheme of things, fostering a sense of peace and acceptance that transcends individual desires and fears. For Zen, there is no duality, no conflict between the natural element of chance and the human element of control. The constructive powers of the human mind are no more artificial than the formative actions of plants or bees, so that from the standpoint of Zen, it is no contradiction to say that artistic technique is discipline in spontaneity and spontaneity in discipline. One of the core tenets of Stoicism is the dichotomy of control, which distinguishes between what is within our control and what is not. Stoics argue that we should focus our energies on our own actions, thoughts, and attitudes rather than external events beyond our influence. Alan Watts echoes this sentiment in his teachings on the illusion of control. He frequently discusses the futility of trying to dominate or manipulate life's uncontrollable aspects, urging individuals to embrace uncertainty and impermanence. This acceptance of life's inherent unpredictability mirrors the Stoic practice of cultivating inner tranquility by letting go of the need to control external circumstances. When we attempt to exercise power or control over someone else, we cannot avoid giving that person the very same power or control over us. Alan's emphasis on present moment awareness also bears a strong resemblance to Stoic practices. Stoicism teaches the importance of mindfulness and living in accordance with nature, which includes being fully present in the moment. Watts advocates for a similar approach, encouraging people to engage fully with the present, rather than being preoccupied with the past or future. By immersing oneself in the here and now, Watts believes that individuals can alleviate much of their anxiety and dissatisfaction, which is often rooted in temporal concerns. This alignment with Stoic mindfulness underscores the practical wisdom shared by both philosophical traditions. It is impossible to be in anything other than the present moment. We cannot relive the past. We cannot enter the future. We literally can only be in the present moment. It is impossible to be anywhere else. Another significant overlap between Alan Watts's philosophy and Stoicism lies in their respective attitudes towards suffering and adversity. Stoicism teaches that suffering is an inevitable part of life, and that true wisdom involves understanding and accepting this reality. Similarly, Watts acknowledges the inherent difficulties of human existence, but suggests that suffering arises from our resistance to life's natural ebb and flow. By accepting life's challenges and viewing them as opportunities for growth, both Watts and the Stoics promote a resilient and adaptive mindset. This perspective not only mitigates the impact of suffering, but also transforms it into a catalyst for personal development. Alan Watts' exploration of the concept of flow, heavily influenced by Taoism, also resonates with Stoic ideas. He encourages individuals to align themselves with the natural rhythms of life, embracing spontaneity and going with the flow rather than rigidly adhering to preconceived plans. This approach parallels the Stoic principle of living in harmony with nature, which involves adapting to the world's changing circumstances with equanimity and grace. By cultivating an attitude of flexibility and acceptance, Watts and the Stoics both advocate for a life that is attuned to the inherent order of the universe. Moreover, Alan's reflections on the nature of happiness and contentment find common ground with Stoic thought. Stoicism posits that true happiness comes from within, through the cultivation of virtue and wisdom, rather than from external possessions or achievements. Watts similarly argues that genuine contentment arises from a deep understanding of one's place in the universe and an acceptance of life's transient nature. By relinquishing the pursuit of external validation and embracing an inner sense of peace, Watts and the Stoics both offer a path to enduring happiness that is independent of external circumstances. Thus, if man is to realize again his fundamental unity and harmony with life, he must proceed by the roundabout way of trying to get that which he already has until he convinces himself of his own folly. For it is only by trying to accept life as a whole that we can make ourselves aware that there was never any real need to try, and that spirituality is, in fact, a matter of becoming what we are. Alan Watts also addresses the human tendency to construct and cling to rigid identities, a concept that Stoicism challenges through its emphasis on self-examination and the fluidity of roles. Watts suggests that the self is not a fixed entity, but rather a dynamic process, constantly evolving in response to the interplay of internal and external forces. This view aligns with the Stoic practice of reflecting on one's thoughts and actions, recognizing that personal growth involves continuous self-improvement and adaptation. By questioning and transcending fixed identities, both Watts and the Stoics promote a flexible and open-minded approach to personal development. In his discussions on the nature of reality and perception, Watts often delves into the idea that our experience of the world is shaped by our mental frameworks and interpretations. This notion is akin to the Stoic understanding that our judgments about events, rather than the events themselves, determine our emotional responses. By encouraging individuals to reassess their perceptions and adopt a more objective viewpoint, Watts and the Stoics both advocate for a clearer and more balanced understanding of reality. This shift in perspective can lead to greater emotional resilience and a more harmonious relationship with the world. Alan Watts' teachings on the interconnectedness of all things also extend to his views on compassion and empathy, which resonate with the Stoic emphasis on social responsibility and the welfare of others. Both Watts and the Stoics recognize that recognizing our shared humanity fosters a sense of compassion and altruism. By viewing others as extensions of ourselves, we are more likely to act with kindness and consideration, contributing to the well-being of the larger community. This shared emphasis on interconnectedness and empathy underscores the ethical dimension of both philosophical approaches. Besides, Alan Watts' approach to meditation and contemplative practices shares similarities with Stoic exercises designed to cultivate inner peace and clarity. Stoics often engage in practices such as negative visualization and daily reflection to develop mindfulness and emotional resilience. Similarly, Watts advocates for meditative practices that quiet the mind and foster a deep sense of presence and awareness. These practices, whether Stoic or inspired by Eastern traditions, serve as tools for cultivating a calm and centered mind, better equipped to navigate the complexities of life. Alan Watts's reflections on the nature of death and the afterlife also intersect with Stoic views on mortality. Stoicism teaches that death is a natural part of life and should not be feared, as it is beyond our control and simply a return to the state of non-existence from which we came. Watts similarly suggests that death is a transition rather than an end, and that fearing it only detracts from the fullness of life. By accepting mortality with equanimity, both Watts and the Stoics encourage a deeper appreciation of life and a focus on living meaningfully in the present. While Alan Watts is not a Stoic philosopher, his teachings incorporate many elements that resonate with Stoic principles. His emphasis on non-duality, present moment awareness, acceptance of life's uncertainties, and the cultivation of inner peace and contentment align closely with Stoic thought. By examining the intersections between Watts' interpretations of Eastern philosophies and the core tenets of Stoicism, one can appreciate the complementary wisdom they offer for navigating the complexities of human existence. Watts's integration of these philosophical traditions provides a rich, multidimensional perspective on living a meaningful and fulfilling life, emphasizing the interconnectedness of all things, the importance of mindfulness, and the transformative power of acceptance and understanding. Thanks for watching. Let us know your thoughts about this video and if you agree.